Okay. Hi, it's Auntie Pearl, and I want to read a story to all of my nieces and nephews. And Desmond is listening too, and it's called Follow That Star. And it's a story about Christmas, about a boy named Zach who is a shepherd. Zach wasn't even there when the angels came. He was down the hill on the other side of the high thicket, grumbling and trying to count sheep in the dark. Worst job in the world, he muttered. 21, 22, long hours, low wages, 23, 24. If he had looked behind him, he would have seen a halo of light around the hill, blazing like 1,000 candles. If he had stopped counting for a second and listened, he would have heard the soft music of 1,000 wind chimes and oboes. But he didn't turn around. He didn't listen, and he missed the angels.
I'll sit on your lap.
Windsor's sitting on my lap right now. When he got back to the campfire, Ben and Josh were there. He found a note by his blanket that says, "We've seen angels. We're going to Bethlehem." "Angels!" Zach exclaimed. "Lazy. That's what they are, leaving me to do all the work. They're probably taking a nice snooze somewhere. Angels, my foot." He sat down against the tree and folded his arms across his chest. He humphed and hawed and hooed. Angels. He couldn't believe in angels. He's certainly never seen any. Then Zach noticed something on the grass, something sparkly and bright, like fine morning dew. And there it was in the branches and of the trees, too, glittering like droplets of ice. He'd heard stories about it, but never believed in it. "Angel mist," he whispered.
I'll sit on your lap. What window? What window?
Zach began to feel left out. He had never seen angels. Ben and Josh had seen angels, if it weren't for those stupid sheep. He looked off into the distance. Bethlehem was a long way, maybe 10 or 11 miles. It was further than he'd ever been. Who would look after the sheep? He couldn't leave them alone. They were the stupidest sheep in the whole world. They'd wander off and get into trouble. And there were sheep thieves everywhere. He'd have to take the whole flock with him. "Come on, sheep," he called, running down the hill. "We're going to Bethlehem." The night was clear and full of stars. Zach took deep breaths of the crisp, clean air. He felt happy. He was going to Bethlehem to see angels. Maybe he'd even catch up with Josh and Ben, and they could even walk together, laughing and telling stories. It wasn't long before Zach was very cold and very tired. He tried to keep all...
This gonna fall off the tree.
Oh, dear me. That would not be good, right? It wasn't long before Zach, he couldn't keep all the sheep together, and they were straying off the path.
Fall off a tree.
Yeah. They bonked heads, trying to go in opposite directions. They forgot they were sheep and tried to hop like kangaroos. One of them even climbed up a tree and sat there in the branches, bleating in confusion. "These are the stupidest sheep in the whole world," Zach complained. Up ahead was an inn. Light danced behind the windows, and Zach could hear merry voices spilling out into the night. He went inside to get warm. "Where are you off to?" they asked him. "Bethlehem," he said. "Josh and Ben saw angels." "Angels!" they exclaimed. "Don't tell us you believe in angels. A man of your age?" Zach's face colored. "Well, I think I do," he said quietly. "It's a long walk to Bethlehem," they said, "and it's getting cloudy. Stay here with us." Zach nodded. He wanted to stay warm. It was warm and cozy at the inn, and he was very tired. But suddenly the doors and windows blew open. The room was filled with wind and a most strange and wonderful smell. "Angels," he said. That could only be the smell of angels. Nice. He ran outside and gathered his flock. He was going to Bethlehem if it was the last thing he did. He wanted to see angels. He wondered what they looked like. He could hardly wait to find out. "Oh, great," he grumbled. "I'm lost. I don't know where I am." "Hello," came a trembling voice from behind him. "Is anyone there?" It was a gentleman. It was an elderly gentleman lying in the shadows of the side of the road. "I seem to have fallen down," the gentleman said. Zach rushed over and lifted the old man to his feet. He weighed hardly anything at all. "Thank you very much," said the elderly gentleman. "Now tell me, what's a shepherd doing on the road at this hour of the night?" "I'm trying to get to Bethlehem," Zach told him. "It's going to take you a long time from here with all these sheep." "I know," sighed Zach. "They're the stupidest sheep in the whole world, but what can I do? I've got to take them, and I don't want to lose any. Do you know the way to Bethlehem?" Why do you want to go to Bethlehem? The old elderly gentleman asked. Angels, said Zach. There are angels there. Don't be ridiculous, he said. There's no such thing. Oh, yes, there is, Zach said firmly. I saw angel mist, and when I was at the inn, the windows blew open, and there was this wonderful smell. It smelled like angels. The elderly gentleman smiled, pointed up at the sky, and said, "Follow that star." Zach looked. Shining through a gap in the clouds, there was this huge, glistening star. Zach knew a thing or two about stars. He used them to find his way home in the dark. He could also tell time by stars, and he'd never seen a star like this before. "Thanks," said Zach. But the elderly gentleman had disappeared. Hi, Dennis Mint. I'm reading a book. Zach followed the star through the valley. He followed it over the next hill. He made his way by the light of the strange new star along the dusty, winding road through sleeping villages all the way to a shallow stream. When he got to the stream, his sheep wouldn't cross. "I forgot," Zach moaned. "My sheep don't like water. They're the stupidest sheep in the whole world." He was never going to get to Bethlehem at this rate. "Can I help you?" a voice said beside him. "I'm going to read this book to all your cousins." "Who are you?" Zach asked. "A carpenter," said the man. He wore a leather tool belt around his waist, and he led a mule carrying long pieces of wood. "My sheep won't walk through the stream," Zach told him. "And there's no bridge in sight. Don't touch, please." "Don't worry, we'll build a bridge," said the man. "It won't take long." They hammered and sawed. Desmond, if you don't want to listen to the book, then you can go play. They hammered and sawed. In no time at all, Zach and the carpenter had built a little bridge across the stream. "Thank you very much," said Zach. "Maybe I'll make it to Bethlehem after all." "Good luck," said the carpenter. "Haven't I seen you somewhere before?" Zach asked. There was something familiar about his face. "I don't think so," said the carpenter. "Remember, follow that star." Zach followed the star. Suddenly, a band of thieves sprang out from the shadows. "We want your sheep," they yelled, waving their wooden clubs. "You don't want these sheep," Zach said. "They're the stupidest sheep in the whole world." "We still want them," the thieves shouted, and they came running after Zach. "Clear off!" boomed a loud voice from the darkness. It was a tall man in a cloak waving a long, flashing sword. "Run!" yelled the thieves, screaming in terror, scrambling back into the shadows. "Thank you very much," said Zach. "Don't mention it," said the man in the cloak. "I'm sure I've seen you before," Zach said. It was the eyes. He'd seen those eyes somewhere before. "Follow that star," said the man, and he vanished into the night. Zach followed the star. It grew bigger and bigger. He was sure he was almost there. Then he came to a hill. It was so steep that the sheep kept falling down and tumbling back to the bottom. They lay there on their backs, bleating and bowing into the night sky. Zach felt like crying. He sat down on a nearby sheep and clasped his head in his hands. He was never going to get to Bethlehem. "Having sheep trouble?" a voice asked him. It was a young boy in shabby clothes. "My sheep can't get up the hill," Zach told him. "I'd carry them on my own back if I weren't so tired and there weren't so many of them." "You need a slingshot," said the boy. "What?" said Zach. "We could rig a slingshot between these two trees and fire the sheep to the top of the hill. I've done this kind of thing before." "It's worth a try," said Zach.
I crashed the rock.
The boy stretched a long piece of leather between the trunks of the two trees and pulled it back like a giant slingshot. Zach shoved in the first sheep. The boy let go and the sheep was catapulted through the air, bleeding in confusion. It landed on all fours at the top of the hill. "It works!" cried Zach. One after another, they fired Zach's sheep up the hill.
I'm jumping off.
Nice, good job. From the hilltop, Zach could see the city of Bethlehem spread out before him. "I made it," said Zach to the boy. "I couldn't have done it without you." "Well," said the boy, "you didn't think we'd forget about you, did you? The others sent me back to find you." "Hey," cried Zach, "I'm sure I've seen you somewhere before. You've got the same eyes as that elderly gentleman, and the carpenter, and the man with the sword."
I need to move my grip.
The boy shed his shabby clothes. He spread his wings and soared up into the sky, mist and light trailing from him. A wonderful smell filled the night air. "You're an angel!" Zach exclaimed. "I've seen an angel!" "That's nothing," laughed the angel. "Wait till you see what's in Bethlehem." "You mean there's more?" asked Zach. "Oh, yes. Much more, said the angel, and his voice was like wind chimes and oboes in a manger in a stable. You'll find what you came all this way to see. It's something wonderful. Someone that's gonna change the world. How do I know which is the right stable? Asked Zach. But he already knew the answer. He looked up into the sky and saw the star. All he needed to do was follow the star. I hope you guys enjoyed this a little bit chaotic storybook, and I hope I can see you all soon. I love you. Bye.